a Wuthering Waves streamer set a live streaming record on Bilibili for a gacha game, any gacha game in the history of the genre, with over 221,000 concurrent viewers watching them play the game. Earlier today, there was a thread made over, and I was tagged with regards to this over on Twitter as well, but there was a Reddit thread made over on our subreddit, which y'all should be a member of if you're not already, titled "Wuthering Waves is the most streamed gacha game ever in China," which is a bold statement. Wuwa being the most streamed gacha game in the history of gacha game streaming within China itself. More popular than any other gacha game out there. And once again, I do want to stress, I say this all the time, I do not want to engage in gacha tribalism, and I'm not here to say this game is better than that game or that game is inferior to this game, but I think when large milestones like this are made, it's worth pointing out. Just like I posted a video on Arknights Enfield earlier that I'm sure some fans in some communities were not too happy with, where I went over how the game just keeps winning, how the public perception of the game has increased quite significantly. It won the Player's Choice Award for January 2026 as the PlayStation Network, or the PlayStation Blog's top new game. A new accomplishment for gacha, I think, as a whole. And then in the comment section here, there was an interview with Solon Lee himself. And chat, this does not happen very often. It does not happen often at all. When a gacha game releases a character, typically what happens is the game spikes up, and then over a day or two, they make the bulk of their revenue, and then afterwards, the revenue drops back down, and they fall from position number 1 to like 4, 8, 10. But Wuthering Waves, we're what, weeks into the patch now, actually still holds the number 1 position in Japan. That's crazy. This late into IMET's banner cycle. That is largely unheard of, and goes to show the popularity of the game still this late into the patch. It beat Neo 3. It beat Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined. Yeah, it beat every other game here listed right now. And that, again, is an accomplishment and a half. Here is an interview that was had with Solon Lee. Thank you for playing my game, Wuthering Waves, exploring game creation under the Unreal Engine. When you think of Unreal Engine, what comes to mind? Very, very laggy games with a lot of FPS drops. That's what comes to mind for me. A few days ago at the Epic Games Shanghai office, I met the producers of Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, and Wuthering Waves. Whoa, one of the best RPG releases of the last several years, and one of the best gacha game releases of the last several years. God damn. That's impressive. Both games are developed and based on Unreal Engine, and they share the stories behind their game creation. My biggest takeaway was that while a great game stems from a producer's emotional expression, its realization relies on the escort of technology. Let's turn to the interview scene and listen once more to their unique insights on game development. So this is specifically, I guess we're gonna look at Wuwas. Maybe they'll touch on the optimization of the game and how they plan on optimizing the game better. The fact that it's still there is crazy. Usually it spikes up on the first day and then drops, but having staying power is crazy. I know, that's what it's largely unheard of, yeah. Bill Clifford, the VP and GM of Unreal Engine 5 at Epic Games, with Wuthering Waves, they use many complex artistic techniques to present this anime style, and it has one of the most beautiful anime aesthetics in gacha chat. It is truly outstanding. They're among the first companies to create a role-playing game in an open world that is also cross-platform, which is another incredible feat. They are among the first companies to create an open-world RPG that's... I mean, yo, like, I'm all for glazing Kuro when they deserve it. Maybe they mean one of the first companies to create a role-playing game in an open world that's cross-platform on Unreal Engine. Maybe that's what they mean. Maybe that's what they mean. I'm gonna give them a benefit of the doubt here and assume that they meant on Unreal Engine. They didn't express this, but I'm assuming they meant Unreal Engine. But come on, like, I'll glaze games when I think they deserve it, but they are not one of the first companies to create an open world RPG, okay? Okay, that's a little bit meat riding. It is. Yeah, Genshin's on Unity, exactly. So that's why I said I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna assume here they meant built on Unreal Engine. They introduced console level graphics, that's true, and combat systems, well, actually a lot better than console level graphics if you look at a lot of the crap that's released nowadays, while maintaining a consistent update frequency. Furthermore, as they adopted and integrate new Unreal Engine technologies into the game, the experience is continuously enhanced. It is a truly inspiring success story. Solon Lee stated, "We have grown alongside the updates of the Unreal Engine, including the release of Unreal Engine 5. Throughout the process, we've been able to learn from Unreal Engine's updates. When Unreal Engine 5 was released, it introduced many new technical features, especially ray tracing." Yo, when that was implemented, though, into WoW and into games, damn. Everyone currently praises the ray tracing effects in WoW, which is actually due to the continuous updates of the engine. We found those highlights and ported them over in Unreal Engine 4.26. During this process, our engineers were learning the logic of the engine, following its updates, and developing an engineering mindset and a way of creating visual effects. So, my biggest personal takeaway is that choosing a top-tier engine doesn't just make the game better, it makes us better in the process. Punishing Grey Raven was developed on the Unity platform. Yo, I actually had no idea Punishing Grey Raven was built on the same platform as Genshin Impact. Oh, crap. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. While Wuthering Waves is based on Unreal, what was the reasoning behind this change at the time? Psychologically, we don't have a heavy dependence. We don't feel that just because we've used Unity, we must continue using it. We're a bit more pragmatic. When we were about to start Wuthering Waves, we clearly knew we wanted to make an open world. Unreal Engine obviously offers more support for open worlds. We felt that standing on the shoulders of giants to make a game that was definitely a more practical decision. At that time, we could also sense that most engineers in the industry had an aspiration towards Unreal Engine. Wuthering Waves has been live for a year and a half. Dude, it's already been a year and a half. That's crazy. At this stage, could you use a short summary or a few words to introduce Wuthering Waves to players? I could think of a few, but I know it would upset a couple communities. We don't want to engage in tribalism here, okay? Let's not make comparisons to other games, even though it would be the perfect opportunity to. Wuthering Waves is a game that strives to continuously create resonance with players. From the excitement and design of the action, which is always top tier, to the script writing, which has gotten incredible, and performances from the voice actors and the characters, yes. We strive to find and highlight segments or moments in every version that can trigger internal resonance, touch the heart, or make players scream with excitement. Yo, and that is, has never been more apparent than after playing through 3.1. God damn, definitely. This is actually a creative consensus our team has slowly formed over the past year. When we find that moment in a version and we ourselves scream for it, we feel that there is a high probability that when the version is released, it will be recognized by the users. Because the most important thing about a game is that it must be fun. As developers, we often think about what kind of game qualifies as fun. Very good point. You have engaging combat that has a purpose with unique character skill sets, unique character animations. You have great looking characters. And you have an actual goal for a player to achieve. That's it. Like they set out to achieve that goal, and you always give them something new to aspire to, I think. What is a fun game? One point I could think of right now is that the rules should be as simple as possible. As soon as you start, after 2 slashes or casting a skill, you should feel, wow, that was so cool. I mean, that is very much WoW. That is very much so WoW. Yep, WoW 100%, man. I want to do it again. Wow, so cool. Specifically for action games, the fun is often hidden in very small granularities. For example, if you compare 2 different games where you're just running around and jumping, the running in some game feels fun. Why? It might just be because the grip is better, the animation swing feels better, or it gives you a sense of gravity or momentum. Actually, let me refine this answer a little bit, chat. If you compare 2 different games where you're just running and jumping. So if you run in Wuthering Waves, when you sprint, you do not consume stamina. So that makes it a lot more fun to run in. In certain other games, when you run, you do consume stamina. And when you consume stamina to run and to sprint, it makes sprinting and makes traversal and exploration less fun. So by removing that stamina for sprinting, you have a more fun game, a more fun traversal experience, more fun navigational experience. There you go. I just easily fine-tuned that for you. Refined it very easily. Let me give you another example. When you have a giant tower or a wall you have to climb, and certain games have you only be able to climb it slowly with your hands and feet, and other games provide you options to climb it, whether through shooting a grapple and being able to procedurally make your way up there, whether they allow for you to climb up it, they give you a jetpack to boost yourself up it faster. These are all fun, very fun aspects of a game, whereas climbing, just climbing a game, is not. There you go. I just like dumbed it down into the most like primal basic answer you could give. I'm not trying to walk. I'm glad Wu has unlimited stamina for running. Same here, Hex. Same here. Stamina for running is mad. I know, I hate it, dude. Whether a point in a game is fun can be subjective. But stamina inhibiting your ability to sprint, I don't think anyone is like, that is what I want in my game. I want to have limited options. For me, there are a few games that have a significant influence on my work. One is definitely Nier. We've all seen that in WoW, definitely. We're making Bayonetta and Devil May Cry 2. When we're making Punishing Gray Raven in the early days, we were very inspired by Nier. In a shocking turn of events, Punishing Gray Raven was inspired by Nier. When Devil May Cry 5 came out, I told you, Devil May Cry, it gave us a lot of new inspiration for our combat system. Death Stranding is indeed one of my personal favorite games from recent years. When Elden Ring was released, it also gave us a very strong impression and touched us deeply. Yo, they're gonna implement some Elden Ring aesthetics into the game? Okay, cool. You can really see that Huang Long was designed for running, Rinasida for flying, and Laha Roy for the bike. Yeah, I know, which is very cool that they took the time to actually, like, put forethought into that. Nier is great. It really is. It genuinely is. The project for Wuthering Waves started in the first half of 2020. At that time, there were very few open world action games on the market because most action games back then were stage-based, linear, hub-based. All excellent action games required very tight level design. Later, Elden Ring came out, and experiencing it gave us a strong resonance. We felt that action games definitely have potential in an open world, and we believe it should be that way. I mean, we had what, like Breath of the Wild, we had Horizon Zero Dawn. Honestly, they're the only two that come to mind immediately. We already have Scar boss fight is a one-to-one copy of an Elden Ring boss. How could basically a god, a character that can kill monsters in seconds, have stamina? Right? God damn. A message to the players. I am grateful, truly grateful, rather. Not just grateful, truly grateful that so many players like Wuthering Waves. So many. Millions, tens of millions all around the world. It is because of everyone's love, whether it's encouragement or criticism, that we're given a lot of motivation to maintain our continuous passion to make our game better. I believe the only way we can give back to the players who like Kuro and Wuthering Waves is by producing better and better versions and content and making more and more great games. And 3.1 chat has achieved that. They really freaking have. I could smell people gonna be hating. They are. There will always be people hating on everything. Any kind of success triggers hate from people that do not have that success. Happy New Year and thank you for playing my game. That's actually incredible. God damn. That genuinely, like, that is so cool. Wuwa 3.1. And okay, this is one of the things that we're linked to again. This was the actual original point of the Reddit thread. Wuthering Waves 3.1 is insanely popular in China right now. A content creator sets a new gacha game live streaming record on Bilibili with over 221,000 concurrent viewers. A Wuthering Waves streamer set a live streaming record on Bilibili for a gacha game. Any gacha game in the history of the genre. With over 221,000 concurrent viewers watching them play the game. Oh my god. That is actually insane. Imagine having 220,000 people wanting to see your reaction to the game. Damn. Dude, damn, yeah. I'm at a loss for words, man. That's insane. Who is the streamer? I actually have no idea. It's in Chinese up there. I can't tell who it is. Damn, dude. Okay, a big English. Ooh, English is so hard. Blah, blah, blah. A big advantage of Wua's storytelling style is, again, its presentation. That's true. That's true. The presentation of 3.1 was phenomenal. The story went viral on Chinese social media. The lead writer even got an exclusive interview. The lead writer got an exclusive interview, which never happens in Wuwa. Okay. Kuro was confident the patch would land well, but I don't think they quite expected the influx of new interest. Otherwise, there'd be a new player event with 3.1. That's true. They were so confident that Gigok outright stated for content creator promotion, all they gave was a document that says enjoy the game. No direction on what to say, what to show, or what to say. Not even links to Kuro or Wuwa websites were required to be put on the streamers. So I've actually talked about this repeatedly, chat, over the course of, I don't know, a year and a half, 2 years now. For all my sponsors, for Wuthering Waves and my sponsors for Punishing Graven, they always state that there is no direction to follow. They just let you play it and let you stream it and let you do your video however you want. So when Punishing Graven was originally releasing their PC client, Kuro reached out to me. They said they wanted me to stream and then do a dedicated video sponsor. They paid me $2,500 up front for this. That's a lot of money. And all I had to do was document essentially my experience in the game and my thoughts on the PC client. And I said, okay, cool. Like, what do you want me to showcase? They said, whatever you want. And I was like, okay, do you have a brief with, you know, anything you want me to touch on? They said, nope, just say whatever you want, do whatever you want. And I was like, oh, so like it doesn't matter at all what I say. If I have criticisms, you're fine, like with me just saying whatever. And like we believe that you as a content creator are or should be allowed to you know, critique anything you want. We do have one stipulation when it comes to your feedback in your video, and that is that when or if you happen to say that something in the PC client is not good, you have to give reasoning for it. So if you think that the entirety of Punishing Graven is bad, you could say Punishing Graven is a 0 out of 10, is a terrible game, and I would not advise any of my viewers play it ever. And the reason I think that is because, you know, the story is presented terribly, the graphical fidelity is really bad, the action combat really just doesn't hit for me, or, you know, doesn't have any, like, impact, and the voice acting is bad. And as long as I go through it bit by bit and document in detail why I feel the way I do negatively, then I do not have to worry at all. They didn't even give me, they didn't have me send the video, they just said when I'm done, go and post it. That was it. So that has been my experience with them every time. They've sponsored me 12 times for Wuwa, and, you know, probably, I don't know, 7, 8 times for Punishing Graven. They never give you direction other than with Wuwa, they're just like, try out the new character and have fun with the new character. And I'm like, cool, awesome. So that has been my experience with Kuro for Wuwa. That has been my experience with Kuro for Punishing Graven. So I completely believe Gigok here, where he states they gave him no direction whatsoever. They believe and have faith in the content creators covering their game. They're willing to pay them a lot of money just to play the game and showcase how they're like genuine raw reactions, which I think is really, really good. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment, so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you are not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.